So here it is, guys. There's the main switch panel. So this replaces the factory sunglass holder on your roof console, as shown here. No modifications required at all to this unit. It's basically as simple as removing the sunglass holder, installing this and running the wiring. So the wiring loom that you can see running out there is actually this little plug. So it's been designed in a way where you don't have to cut any holes into this unit to fit the plug through. As you can see, the hole that's left from removing the cog from the sunglass holder, that loom there actually fits perfectly through there. So again, no modifications to that. This then is the main fuse and relay panel that goes inside the engine bay. As you can see in there, there's 6 80 amp 12 volt relays. It comes with 6 fuses. There's a couple different ranges, 20 and 30 amps, etc. But you can change them to whatever you require because you can go up to 80 amps with those relays. The loom then is fairly simple. That's straight onto the battery. We give you a spare MIDI fuse because the Alpha has a few holders spare. So that onto the MIDI fuse, onto the battery. And there's the 6 positives for the 6 auxiliaries for whatever accessories you want to add. As for the vehicle side, this is the loom here. So that will run through the firewall. But what we do with the kits, we ship them out without this head on the plug. You'll get a wiring diagram, very basic picture of the plug with, you know, red, white, green, etc. They come pre-wired onto the pins and they just basically clip straight in. So we've done it that way so the head will be separate and then you only have that diameter to get through your firewall instead of trying to get that through. That then branches off, as you can see there, to these 3 cables, which is your illumination, your positive and your negative for the switches themselves. So we've run that to the driver's side fuse panel and then just use some of the piggyback or the fuse taps to run these, and then just an eyelet we've chucked on that one. But that's completely up to you where you want to run these. You can actually even leave this side of the loom in the engine bay and come off the fuses there. Again, entirely up to you. So it's a pretty basic kit the way we've set it up in terms of installation. And then the bracket itself, plus all your fixing hardware that's required for that, and the MIDI fuse as well. What we'll do now, we'll jump in the cab and give you a quick run through of where we've run the wires and how that installation looks. Now over to the inside of the cab, just to show you how easy this kit really is to install, especially to give you the ability for 6 80 amp accessory outlets. Anyone that's ever installed wiring for their own fridge or spotlights or anything like that, work lights, knows sometimes it can get pretty tedious. So we've tried to design and make this kit as easy as possible, with obviously the limitations being we have to go through the firewall. Apart from that, basically everything is plug and play. So I'll show you to remove the factory light unit here. Inside here, 2 Phillips head screws. You can see the light shining through the holes. It's as easy as that. Take the 2 screws off, drop the front down, slide it out, unplug your 2 factory looms to get that out the way. Take that off, install your switch panel in place of the sunglass holder. We then run the wiring from the engine bay, so the kit gets installed over on the left hand side just behind the battery. We've then gone through the main firewall grommet and up the passenger pillar, across the roof. There's your wiring there that hangs down. It then, as we described a bit earlier, it tees off. We've then run it across the driver's side, down the driver's pillar and into the driver's fuse panel. So that's the negative, the 12 volt plus the illumination for the switches themselves. But as we said, entirely up to you. If you want to bring that into the cab, you can just leave that wiring in the engine bay and go through a fuse that way. We've put plenty of length on the wiring looms for people that want to change it up a little bit. But yeah, guys, fairly simple. Run that loom through, put the switches in place, the sunglass holder, and then basically chuck this back in. Plug your switches in, your 2 factory wiring that's in there, 2 Phillips head screws back in place, and apart from that, you're ready to go. So over to the engine bay now, you can see the installation area of the panel. It comes with this supplied bracket and all the required hardware. You won't need to supply anything to install this system and have it working. There's already a pre-threaded hole down here in the alphas, so we're utilizing that hole for the installation of the bracket. We then run the main loom through the firewall grommet, which is up in this corner. That's the main loom there. As we said a bit earlier, it's supplied with the head not attached. That's just a nightmare to get something that size through your firewall without leaving a big hole. So we'll basically send it without the head. The cables will already have the pins attached. We'll give you the diagram, which is basically just a picture of this loom head plus what color wire goes in what hole. Because they've already got the pins, put the wire in its designated hole and just push it until it clicks. You've then got your main positive, which comes off of the panel itself. That goes to one of these 2 spare MIDI fuse holders that the Alpha already has. We then give you the 80 amp MIDI fuse as well. So nothing required there in terms of wiring. The only wiring you'll have to do yourself is the 6 positives to your desired accessories. So we hope we've made it as user-friendly as we can and as easy to install as we possibly could. We do have the panel coming out for the Tank 300 very shortly. This panel is also 100% compatible with the Tank 500. For owners out there with the hybrid Alpha, you'll notice this area is full of electronics. So we're just designing up a different type of bracket to suit that. But the kit itself will be the same, just the bracket will be installed in a different location. So stay tuned for that.